The automotive world is obsessed with two letters, EV. Every boardroom meeting, every glossy reveal, every trillion-dollar valuation hinges on the belief that the combustion engine is dead and batteries are the only path forward. You've been told the transition is inevitable. You've been told there is no plan B. But while the world watches Elon Musk and the rising giants of China, Honda is moving in the shadows. They aren't just playing a different game, they've developed an engine that bypasses the EV struggle entirely. We're talking about a technology that kills the need for petrol without the baggage of heavy, slow-charging batteries. If you could have the convenience of a gas tank with the soul of a clean machine, would you ever look at a Tesla the same way again? This isn't just a claim, it's the start of a total pivot. To stay ahead of the curve on the tech that's actually going to define the next decade, make sure you hit subscribe and turn on notifications right now. To understand where Honda is going, you have to understand the man who started it all, Soichiro Honda. He wasn't a CEO in a tailored suit, he was a man with grease under his fingernails and oil on his skin. Born in 1906 to a blacksmith, his playground was a world of iron and tools. He didn't just want machines to work, he wanted them to have a soul. His journey didn't start with supercars, it started with the smallest, most overlooked part of an engine, piston rings. By 1937, he was supplying Toyota, but then the world went dark. World War II leveled his factories. He was left with nothing but a ruined landscape and a nation desperate for a way to move. Most people would have quit. Soichiro innovated. In 1946, he took surplus military generator engines and strapped them to bicycles. It was crude, it was loud, but it worked. This was the birth of the Honda Motor Company in 1948. Within years, these motorized bikes weren't just commuting, they were winning races and shattering records. The world realized Japan wasn't just copying technology, they were perfecting it. When Honda finally entered the car market, they didn't just build vehicles, they built the heart. For Honda, the engine is the soul. That philosophy turned a small motorcycle shop into the world's largest engine manufacturer. From Formula One tracks to private jets, Honda engineering is the invisible force powering the planet. Why does this matter now? Because Honda's legacy isn't built on hype, it's built on trust. When you hear the name Accord, you think of a car that refuses to die. They sell millions of units not because they are the loudest in the room, but because they are the most reliable. Honda's genius is in its simplicity. They don't overcomplicate, they optimize. In the 1970s, when the US slapped down brutal emissions laws, every other manufacturer panicked. Honda just dropped the CVCC engine and met the rules without breaking a sweat. Then came VTEC, proving you could squeeze massive power out of tiny engines. They were even among the first to bring hybrids to the US, shattering the myth that eco-friendly had to mean boring. Honda has a history of waiting, watching, and then striking with a solution no one else saw coming. Now Honda is at a definitive turning point. While every other manufacturer is sprinting toward a 100% battery electric future, Honda is looking the other way. They aren't convinced the story of the internal combustion engine is over. In their world, engines aren't the enemy, the fuel is. This realization led them to a new frontier, hydrogen. You might think this sounds like a gamble. Why deviate when the world is obsessed with lithium? Because Honda doesn't follow the crowd. They watch the crowd, and then they solve the problems the crowd is ignoring. Look at the current state of play. Electric vehicles are everywhere. Silent motors, massive touchscreens, and the lifestyle of charging your car while grabbing a coffee. It feels like the future. Governments are forcing the transition with tax breaks and looming bans on petrol. It seems like a done deal, but you're only seeing half the picture. The side they don't talk about is the weight, the environmental toll of mining lithium and cobalt, the reality that batteries don't last forever and disposal is a ticking ecological bomb time. Then there's time. 5 minutes at a pump versus an hour at a charger? That's not progress, that's a compromise. And when the entire world is trying to draw power from the grid at the same time, those cheap charging bills are going to skyrocket. This is the twist. EVs aren't the final destination, they're just a pit stop. Honda realizes for a system to truly work, it has to be clean and convenient. If you're finding this deep dive into the real future of cars valuable, hit that like button and subscribe. We're just getting to the part the industry is trying to keep quiet. Honda is stepping back from the EV race to focus on the lightest, most abundant element in the universe: hydrogen. No smoke, no heavy metals, no toxic waste, just clean, pure water vapor exiting the tailpipe. This isn't a what-if scenario for them. They've been refining this for decades. In 2015, while the world was still figuring out hybrids, Honda dropped the Clarity fuel cell at the Tokyo Motor Show. It wasn't a concept car or PR stunt. You could actually buy it. The Clarity was built from the ground up for one thing: efficiency. It didn't need to be plugged in. It didn't need a massive battery pack. It used a compact fuel cell that squeezed every ounce of energy out of hydrogen, giving drivers a 360-mile range on a single tank. That was better than almost every EV on the road at the time. It was silent, it was smooth, and the only thing it left behind was a small puddle of water. With the Clarity, Honda proved they had found the formula for intelligent, clean driving without the charging anxiety that haunts every EV owner today. They weren't just building a car, they were building a new path forward. But this is where the story hits a wall. Despite the engineering brilliance of the Clarity, it didn't conquer the market. The problem wasn't the car, it was the world around it. Unless you were living in a specific pocket of California or Japan, finding a hydrogen station was like hunting for a ghost. Long drives became a game of Russian roulette with your fuel gauge. People didn't want a future that caused them anxiety. Meanwhile, the EV narrative was winning the PR war. Governments were throwing billions at charging grids. Influencers were making EVs look like the only simple choice: plug in, charge, go. Hydrogen, by comparison, felt intimidating and alien. Without the subsidies or the publicity, the Clarity was pulled from the lineup in 2021. But don't mistake a tactical retreat for a surrender. Honda didn't quit, they studied. They watched the EV wave peak, waited for the infrastructure to catch up, and went back to the lab. Now the silence is over. Honda is back, and they've brought muscle. Partnering with General Motors, they've engineered a system that fixes everything the Clarity got wrong. More range, smarter integration, and a platform you already know and trust. This is the pivot that should make every EV manufacturer nervous: the CR-V hydrogen. Honda isn't trying to sell you a spaceship anymore. They're giving you the same SUV that has dominated suburban driveways for decades, but with a total heart transplant. This is the turning point where the alternative becomes the standard. If you want to see how this bet plays out against the EV giants, make sure you're subscribed. You don't want to miss what's coming next. From the outside, it's a CR-V. It's familiar, it's safe. But under the skin, the petrol engine and the heavy battery packs are gone. In their place sit two high-pressure hydrogen tanks and a fuel cell system tucked away where you'll never even notice it. You get the same massive trunk space, the same family-friendly interior, and the same legendary comfort. But instead of sitting at a charging pile for 45 minutes, you pull up to a pump, fill up in 3 to 5 minutes, and disappear back onto the highway. It's zero-emission driving without the EV lifestyle compromises. And here's the kicker: this car is also a backup generator. If your house loses power, the CR-V can keep your lights on and your appliances running. It's not just a vehicle, it's a mobile power plant. Honda isn't rushing a global launch this time. They're being surgical. They're starting where the infrastructure exists, focusing on California and Japan, ensuring the experience is flawless before scaling. While everyone else is arguing over bigger batteries and slightly faster plugs, Honda has quietly delivered a familiar SUV that refuels in minutes and emits nothing but water. Imagine the CR-V hydrogen is just the beginning. If Honda can master this technology in a family SUV today, what happens when it trickles down to every vehicle in their lineup? For years, the hydrogen dream was held back by one thing: the map. If you couldn't find a station, the tech was useless. But the map is changing fast. California is dense with new stations. Japan has made hydrogen the backbone of its national energy policy. Germany is laying down a network for heavy-duty transport, and China is pouring billions into hydrogen-powered buses and taxis. This isn't a pilot program, it's a global infrastructure overhaul. Governments are realizing that while EVs are great for city commutes, they fail when things get heavy. Long-haul trucking, public transit, and heavy loads need a fuel that doesn't weigh 10 tons or takes 6 hours to fill. And let's be honest about the EV utopia. The cracks are showing. In some regions, the power grid is already gasping for air, with officials begging owners not to charge during peak hours. Then there's the dirty side of clean energy, the lithium and cobalt mining that destroys landscapes and drains wallets as prices surge. Hydrogen sidesteps all of it. It doesn't crush the grid, it doesn't rely on rare earth metals that are running out, and when you produce green hydrogen using nothing but sunlight and water, you're driving on fuel made from the elements. No fumes, no guilt, no limits. Before we reveal the secret weapon Honda is building with their biggest rivals, hit that subscribe button and join the community. We're tracking the tech that the mainstream media is ignoring. Honda isn't looking to kill the EV, they're looking to succeed where the EV falls short. They are playing the long game. While everyone else is obsessed with batteries, Honda is preserving the soul of the machine. They've always been the masters of the engine, from mopeds to F1, and they aren't ready to let that go. They've partnered with General Motors to shrink fuel cells, making them faster and more efficient than anything we've seen. But it goes deeper. Honda is part of a massive Japanese powerhouse consortium, including Toyota and Mazda. They aren't just working on fuel cells, they're developing ultra-clean combustion engines that can burn hydrogen or biofuels. They want to give you options, not ultimatums. Whether you're in a remote village or a high-tech city, Honda's vision is a world where clean doesn't mean compromise. They aren't reinventing the car, they are reinventing the heart of the car. The world is moving toward a cleaner tomorrow, and while the crowd follows the cables, Honda is following the chemistry. The roads are open, and for the first time in a long time, the engine has a future. The big question now is simple. Can a hydrogen-powered CR-V actually take down an EV? Let's look at the numbers. Charging an EV takes anywhere from 30 minutes to several hours. The CR-V hydrogen? You're back on the road in 3 to 5 minutes. That's not just a convenience, it's a game changer. Range? Most EVs tap out between 200 and 300 miles. This CR-V pushes toward 400 miles on a single tank. That means fewer stops, less stress, and zero range anxiety on your long-haul trips. Environmentally, the comparison gets even sharper. EVs are great because they have no tailpipe, but they carry the heavy baggage of battery production and disposal. The CR-V doesn't have that burden. Its fuel cell emits nothing but water vapor, and it doesn't rely on the destructive mining of lithium and cobalt. It's a cleaner, simpler, more sensible solution for the long term. Honda isn't trying to erase EVs, but the way this SUV refuels, its massive range, and its minimal footprint make it the most dangerous alternative on the market right now. As we see charging grids struggle under the weight of millions of cars, hydrogen stations are quietly expanding across the US, Japan, Germany, and China. Refueling a CR-V doesn't strain the local power grid like a high-power fast charger does. It's a decentralized solution for a centralized problem. Will hydrogen replace EVs entirely? Probably not, and it doesn't have to. Even a small shift in the market can force the entire industry to rethink what clean actually means. Honda's gamble isn't just about a new model, it's a window into a future where we're not tethered to a plug. EVs were the first chapter of the story, but they aren't the final answer. The race for clean energy is heating up, and this competition is exactly what's going to drive the next generation of breakthroughs. If you found this breakdown of Honda's secret weapon insightful, make sure to like the video and share it with someone who thinks EVs are the only way forward. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss our deep dives into the tech reshaping the world. The future is moving fast. Don't get left behind. We'll see you in the next one.